Good afternoon, everybody. I want to start by thanking you for joining us today for our first ever virtual Storybook Village. I am Andrew Hall with our visitor experience team over at the Ohio History Connection, and I want to thank you for supporting the Ohio History Connection, especially given everything that's been going on in the world these past few weeks and months. Before we get started, I want to just give a few pieces of housekeeping to get us all on the same page. Today's session is being recorded and will be available in a couple of days on the Storybook Village website. So if you want to share that with other folks, be on the lookout for that. Also, we are going to be running a short Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Those joining us on Zoom will be able to ask questions at any time using the Q&A box down at the bottom of the screen. We'll go ahead and get to those questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free to just throw them in there anytime you think of one. So our ability to provide programs like this one and other digital resources to all of you over the past few months would not have been possible without your ongoing support of our organization. Our mission is to spark discovery of Ohio's stories, embrace the present, share the past, and transform the future. We're really excited to be able to fulfill that mission by offering live programs online over this time period while we've been closed. I want to go ahead and give a special thanks to our guest presenter, Rebecca, who will be leading us in our draw along here in just a few moments, as well as all the volunteers and staff who helped make all of the great opportunities available today possible. We really could not have done it without all of their support. Be sure to join us later today for one more live segment on Facebook Live and on Zoom, the link of which is on our website, for a special episode of WOSU's Drawing with Mr. J, which will go live at 1:30. And don't forget to join us on our website at ohiohistory.org/storybook for lots of fun activities and a bunch of videos that we've created to help share the characters of Storybook Village with you. I'm going to go ahead now and hand you off to Rebecca for this awesome Storybook Village draw along.
Hi guys, it's Rebecca from Rebecca Ink. I'm a pen and ink artist and I like to draw really intricate animals using very simple shapes. And I thought I could share some of that with you today. We're so excited to have you at the Storybook Village, and together we are going to draw an Ironwood Wolf. What you need to gather up to join in is grab a pencil, a paper, a marker, and an eraser, and that is it. Any age group should be able to join in. My tutorial will be easy to follow using simple shapes. So gather your supplies, and I will see you after the tutorial. Bye.
All right, you gathered up your piece of paper, your marker, your pencil, and your eraser, or your eraser. Let's get started. This is what we're going to draw today, an Ironwood Wolf. I'm going to move my guide, and we're going to get started just about in the center of our paper with a circle about this big. You're going to use your pencil. I'm going to use a marker so that you can see me a little bit better. So get your whole arm going from your shoulder, and let's draw a circle about this big. You're going to go around and around and around and around, and you will eventually arrive at a really nice circle. This is the point in the drawing where you're going to be really forgiving with yourself. It's not going to look perfect. You're not going to erase anything, and we're just going to keep on going and have some fun. Off to the back end of this circle, we are going to draw a smaller circle. This one is going to be about this big. You can get your whole arm going for this guy too. It's just big enough. And off the end of that, a smaller circle. For the smaller circle, I am planting my wrist and just using my fingers. Round and round I go to get that shape. Now we are going to connect those two shapes. We're going to just draw a nice line in between them. I'm planting my wrist, just moving my hand back and forth. And the natural motion it's going to go in. Same thing along the bottom. Just connect those two just like that. Now off the base of this smaller circle you just drew, you're going to plant your wrist off to the side here, and you're going to just create a nice little angle coming off, just like that. And when you plant your wrist, your hand moves in the natural motion it can go in, and that is how we're getting these shapes, so you don't have to think too hard. We're going to do the same thing off the front of this circle. From right about here, plant your wrist and just curve it down. You want it to reach about the end of your paper. You're just going to get a nice little curve going just like that. All right, we've got some shapes going. Now let's go to the top of that circle. We are going to draw a rectangle that will be about this big off of the top of our circle. So get your whole arm going from your shoulder, and you're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. When you get your whole arm going, it's easier to arrive at some of these shapes, so that's why we do it that way. We're going to let that top line of our rectangle cut into our circle about that far. So just like about an inch in, maybe a little less. And once you get it in there, we're going to give a little arc, just like that. You're planting your wrist and get a nice little arc. And then go back to that line and give another nice little arc. Let's make it a little bit thicker. Just below that rectangle we just drew, we're going to add in an oval. That oval is going to live right about here. And the base of it is going to kind of touch that rectangle. See, I'm going around and round and round. And my lines are messy, and your lines are going to be messy too. And it's, in the long run, I promise you, it will work out just fine. We're going to add in a connecting triangle here, right in between our oval and our circle. We're going to add in a connecting triangle right there. That'll help us connect those two shapes when we trace over it with our marker. Let's go back up to this nose area here and add in some details. From the edge of this rectangle, we're going to add a nice little arc right here. Just like that. Plant your wrist and connect those two shapes with a little arc. Now right next to that, let's do a mimicking line just a little bit further away from that, about that far. Draw a line coming down. Very good. All right, at the top of this oval, we're going to just kind of square that off just a little bit. Draw it with a little arc, just like that. Now we need to add in some details for our nose. So if you go up the edge of this rectangle, we are going to draw a little circle about this big right here. Now this circle, you can get your whole arm going to draw this circle. It's going to be about that big. It's going to give us a guide for the base of our nose, as well as a guide for where to draw some of our fur shapes. All right. Inside that arc that we drew with the mimicking line, we're going to add a little teeny tiny little triangle right there. Now let's do our nose. So we have this circle here. We're going to kind of mimic that arc that we had here up at the very tip of that rectangle. Right like that. Just like that. Then we're going to connect it back to our circle. Just like that there. And then down to the edge of our rectangle, just going to draw in another little connecting triangle. Just like that. Next up, we are going to draw a little diagonal line from that connecting triangle back over to our circle right about here. It's a nice little diagonal line. Now let's add in some fun little details for our nose. We're going to draw a series of circles inside this nose shape. We're going to have one little circle here, maybe a little bit more like an oval. Little oval there, and then a little bit smaller one here, and an even smaller one right on the edge. From those small ones, we're going to draw a little arced line down to the base of that nose. That one's going to go in this way, and this one is going to go out that way. Very good. Let me look at my guide and see what else we need to add in. We're going to give ourselves a little guide for where to put the dark marks on the bottom part of this mouth. Add in just a little arc from over here to about like that, like a little arc connecting the edge of that oval back to the face circle. That's going to help us know what to color in dark and what to leave light. And then we're going to add in a little circle right here. All right, so with circles and arcs, we have created an Ironwood Wolf, and now we are ready for our marker. So set down your pencil, grab your marker. I'm using a Sharpie. You can use whatever kind of marker you have on hand, or even a pen. Just as long as you can't erase it, it will be good to go, okay? We're gonna start at the tip of the nose. We are gonna draw around the edge of the nose and back to the body. So let's fill that in. Draw around those lines. You've done all the heavy lifting. Now we are just kind of filling things in. Now we're going to go down that rectangle and stop when it meets up with the circle on the face. Straight down that rectangle and stop. Now we're going to hop onto the circle. Now here is where you get to make some decisions. You know how we went round and around and around? Picking your favorite lines at this point. And we're going to draw up that circle and just kind of flick our marker off to the side for just a few little tufts of fur that are sticking up off our wolf's head. Then we're just going to continue around that circle and connect it over to that ear. Now let's do our ear. We're going to go just below that base circle, the little arced line, curve up that circle, onto that connecting line, around the edge of our little circle, back down the connecting line, and into our circle. Very good. All right, now I did forget to draw a mark with our pencil, but I think that you can do it. So if you plant your wrist with your marker, we're just going to do a simple little arc inside that ear and then just kind of shade in a little bit. If that makes you uncomfortable, you can switch back to your pencil, draw the arc, and then trace over it, but I think you've got it. All right, now off the back here, on the neck of this wolf, this is where the fur starts to get a little bit longer. So we're going to use a motion that's kind of back and forth. We're going to base our mark off of the arc that we drew and go out and in and out and in. Very good. Let's do a little bit of that in front of the ear along this oval here. We're going to go a little bit there and then a little bit there, just to give us a hint of some of that fur that we have. All right, let's go back up and do some of this nose going into the mouth. We're gonna go down that connecting triangle that we drew, about to there, down the connecting triangle onto that arc. Then we're gonna hop over on that little connecting triangle. We're going to go down that rectangle and stop when we get to the face circle. Now we're going to draw those two mimicking lines that we drew, the one on the inside and then another one on the outside. Now we're going to go from that connecting point around this oval onto our little arc and back down the oval. So go ahead, if you need to rotate your paper, feel free to do that. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to confuse you. Now we're going to do that arc and then back down this oval onto the connecting triangle, around a little bit of our circle, and then here we are at that arc we drew in the very beginning. Now when we get down here, we're going to do some of that jaggedy fur like we did over there. We're going to kind of ride down that arc and just flick our marker out to get some of that jaggedy fur, and then we can go into some of that back and forth kind of motion. Just inside from there, we're going to do a little bit more of that back and forth, just like that, just like a little hint of some of their neck fur. And around the base of their head, we're going to do some of that as well. Back and forth, kind of curving along with that circle shape that we drew in the very beginning. Now we are ready to draw in our eye and get our nose details and mouth details going. So where our rectangle came down into our circle, we're going to draw a little hint of that line. Then we're going to fill in our arc where we made it fatter. And we've got our little smiley eye on our wolf who's howling. Okay, now let's go up here to our nose. For our nose, we are going to fill in some of this black, and then the rest we're going to leave white for highlights. So where we drew that first circle, from there kind of up to the edge, we're going to fill that in nice and dark. We're going to go around the top part of that circle there, up to that little circle, fill that in, and come down, leave a little highlight there. And then we're going to go up to that other little circle, down that line, and kind of fill in the base there, just like that. The rest of it, we're going to leave nice and light for like a highlight. Actually, I take that back. Let's do a little line right about there. Just fill in just a tiny bit. Okay, so for this section here, in between the edge of that face and that circle that we drew at the end, we're going to fill that in with some dots. It's going to be darkest along that furthest edge, so put your dots nice and close together, and underneath the nose, nice and close together. And as you get closer to your circle, just kind of spread them out just a little bit. Just like that. Very good. Heading down that mouth line, I'm just going to add a few of those dots because they just have a little bit of darker fur along there. Just like that. Now for this inside section, looks like a slice of pie. We're going to fill that in nice and dark with our marker. Just like that. And then where we drew that little oval right here, we're going to fill that in nice and dark with our marker. Then from here, we're going to add some more of those dots. In this area here where we have that angle that came over, we're going to fill this in with dots as well. It's going to be darkest along this top line and around this oval. So go ahead and start to fill in your dots nice and close together around this top edge. And as you go down, they get a little bit further apart. What that does is it creates a nice little gradient for us and makes it look like our fur is kind of changing color. So we've got some dark color mixed in with our white on this beautiful Ironwood Wolf. All right, takes just a second. I always say if I had a fast forward at this point, I would use it, but life does not come with fast forwards, does it? All right, I've got mine just about filled in. If I did this faster than you did it, that's okay. You can come back and fill this in. You know what to do. We're going to do just a few around that oval that we drew and back to that mouth area. Just like that. And you have everything you need to have a really cool wolf. So we're ready to switch to our eraser. I'm going to switch back to my guide because I drew this one in pencil, just like you did. I'm going to grab my eraser, steady your paper with your hand, and go back and forth and erase all of your guides. You are going to be left with one amazing Ironwood Wolf. I'm really proud of what you drew today. I hope you are too, and I hope you had a little bit of fun. If you'd like to send me your drawings, I would love to see them. You can find Rebecca Inc. on Facebook as well as YouTube. You can send me your drawings. I will post them up on my website at RebeccaInc.com. If you want to see them, I'll put them up there for you. If you send them to me, I love to see what people are drawing and how they drew it. It helps me know how to teach you better too. If you have a little bit darker line, take a second and go over that a little bit better. I hope you are having fun at the Storybook Village, and I look forward to seeing you and answering your questions next. See you in a second.
Right. Well, excuse me. Thank you, Rebecca. That was an amazing drawing tutorial. Makes me wish I had thought ahead to grab a piece of paper, a pencil, and a pen to actually be able to follow along. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and take any questions that folks might have. Those of you in Zoom can use the Q&A button down at the bottom of the screen to ask questions. And I do have the Facebook page opened as well, which I will try to check as we go. There is a bit of a lag on that one. So if you're on Facebook and you have some questions, feel free to toss them in the comment section. And obviously, like I said, if you are on Zoom and have any questions, we'll get to those. All right. So we got one question. What is your favorite animal to draw?
Oh, I've drawn a lot of animals. I don't know if I have a favorite. I really enjoyed drawing a panda.
Okay. Let me pop back over to Facebook here. Well, I have a question while we're waiting to see if other folks have any. What first got you interested in drawing, and then how did that carry you over to doing what you do now?
Well, I've always drawn, just kind of something that was in me from the get-go. I did study it in college, and then I just kind of from there, it just became what I do for a living. The tutorials are new to me. I started doing those at the very beginning of the pandemic when school shut down, and I was seeing the kids in my neighborhood and my own kids looking for things to do. And I thought, well, let's try this. And they kind of have evolved over the past couple months. I've gotten better. My kids have given me tips on how to do it better. And I've really enjoyed doing them. People send me their drawings, and it's fun to see what they come up with. So.
Yeah, and I like that not only have you told everybody how they can share their drawings, but I like that we can see in the background there some of the other drawings that you've done in the past.
Yeah, there's a few. I just cleared off my wall. I've done over 50 of these drawing tutorials at this point. And how I arrive at what I draw, people send me requests. They text me, they email me, they send me requests on my Facebook page, Rebecca Inc. And I just draw what people are asking for. And then as I finish them, I put them back here on my board. And my whole wall was covered. So I had to clean it off. This is new from, I think, last week into this week.
Okay.
So lots of fun stuff. Yeah.
We got a question from Sarisha, and she says, can you post drawings of a shark because she loves sharks?
Yes, I can post drawings of a shark. Sharisha, if you go to Rebecca Inc. on Facebook, you will see I did a shark tutorial, and he's kind of curved and swimming. It's super cool. It was one of my favorite ones. So follow along. There's a tutorial, and then there's also a time-lapse video of that tutorial. So find it in my videos. If you scroll down, there's a live one in the live section, and then just another video of a time-lapse one. You can draw along. That was one of my absolute favorite ones.
We have another question. What can I do to become a better drawer?
Draw. Lots and lots of drawing. Practice, practice, practice. Just like any sport you would do, drawing involves lots of fine muscles in your fingers. So the more that you draw, the more you have control of those fine motor movements in your fingers, and you'll get better and better and better. And I would also say be patient with yourself, because it doesn't come overnight, and you have to let yourself work at it and get better.
Yeah, I think that's generally true of any skill,
Right.
really, whether artistic or otherwise. Just
Right.
You gotta practice. Nobody's good at it right away.
Exactly. Practice, 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 and be forgiving with yourself. And then the other thing I would recommend is don't erase and don't expect it to be perfect. As you go along, you'll make mistakes. I call them happy accidents. I draw in mostly ink. I don't usually start with pencil. And I make mistakes, but I figure out clever ways to make it look like it was on purpose. But it's a way to free it up from making it feel like you have to be perfect with it, because art isn't perfect and life isn't perfect, and that kind of sucks the fun out of it if you want it to be perfect. Yeah, so roll with it a little bit, be forgiving, no erasers.
turning your mistakes into something great is a good life lesson overall.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. Happy accidents. Think of them as happy
there you go.
accidents.
We do have
No
another
one else knows what you were intending to draw.
We have a question from Irene, and she'd like to know, have you ever drawn a unicorn?
No, I have not drawn a unicorn. I will put that on my list, and maybe we'll do that in the next few weeks here. I like that.
Let's see here.
I'm going to write it down so I don't forget.
That is a good idea. Sarisha would like to know at what age you started drawing, and was there anybody who inspired you to draw?
I was pretty little, as early as I can remember. I think my mom has some cushions to prove that, or had some cushions to prove that. I got a hold of a marker and drew on the cushions as a toddler. So pretty early on. And my parents would be my inspiration. My dad was a wonderful artist, and my mom is also very creative, and they always supported it and got me new pencils and crayons and that kind of stuff. So my parents, and very, very young. So you never know. If you have kids that are drawing on your walls, who knows what they'll be good at when they're older.
Right. I think, let me double check Facebook one more time. We've got one final question coming from Facebook. Have you ever drawn a tiger?
I haven't. I'll add that to my list too. Tiger it is. We'll do that. I draw in the summertime. I'm doing live drawing tutorials Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Rebecca Inc. on Facebook, and then I'll post them to Rebecca Inc. on YouTube, as well as IGTV, to try to get up to everybody that wants to join in. They're free, so I'll add in the unicorn and the tiger, and we'll get those done.
I love it. All right. I think that's all the time we have for this session today. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining us.
Absolutely.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
And for all of you out there, if you liked this, obviously go and visit Rebecca's Facebook page, check out all of her other drawings that she's done on her website. And if you want to join in for more live storybook fun, we have one more live session today in about an hour at 1:30, where we'll be doing a special episode of WOSU's Drawing with Mr. J. And you can engage with us otherwise on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on our website, we have a whole bunch of really awesome Storybook Village content that is our way of trying to bring the fun of Storybook Village right to your own home. Lots of really cool videos and a couple of fun activities, which you can access at ohiohistory.org/storybook. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us today, and hopefully we'll see you in about an hour. Bye.